Welcome back to the podcast. Today, our guest is Genie. Genie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Genie, I was reading about, a verbal internal monologue. I'm not sure whether you're aware of that. So every human being, not every human being, some of us have, conversation within our heads, right? With ourselves.
hmm
Do you also have that kind of verbal communication, internal monologue?
Yes, yes, I do a lot actually.
And
Sometimes I speak out loud.
yeah, yeah. When that conversation happens, in what language does it happens for you?
um, yeah. Well, I've been I've thought about this, and I think it happens both in English and Mizo. There are things
Mm-hmm.
that I express better in English, and there are things that I say better in Mizo.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
that's
guess it
interesting.
varies.
And you're a rapper and a songwriter, and you move out of your comfort zone and then embrace another language, which is English, to write your song. How did you go about songwriting? Do you process the thought in Mizo first and then wrote it down in English, or it automatically happened in English?
Hmm. I think it depends. I think it depends whether I'm trying to write uh, um, initially in
Mm-hmm.
English or Mizo.
Mm-hmm.
I make the decision first, I guess, to write in either Mizo or English. So
Mm-hmm.
if I decided, okay, this is going to be an English song, then I think um, in English directly.
Great to know. Great to know. And you've been outside of their home state, Mizoram, as well. And I know you've been to you were in Delhi before, and then also in Bangalore, right?
Yes, yes.
So how was the how was the experiences and any thought process changes after coming back from Bangalore or from Delhi to your home state?
Yes, I lived in Delhi for I think it was like 5 years. I
Mm-hmm.
lived in Delhi for 5 years, and also in Bangalore for around 5 years
Mm-hmm.
altogether. Uh, it was quite different, the environment, um, the people,
Mm-hmm.
um, everything was different. My experience in both of the cities, uh, were quite, were quite different, and I
Mm-hmm.
met a lot of different kinds of people,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
And what part do you miss the most when you went back to Mizoram?
About the other
About the
cities.
metropolitan cities, yeah.
Well, I don't miss Delhi much because I didn't have a very good experience there.
Yeah.
I miss Bangalore though. Bangalore was good. Bangalore was a good place.
Mm-hmm.
The climate, um, just the city, the vibe,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people that I met there. Um, I miss those.
I
I
mean,
miss the freedom.
yeah.
I guess.
Within the past 10 years, I would say that we have seen a lot of changes in the shift in the music industry. When you look at the northeastern state, focusing greatly on the northeastern state.
hmm
So, what would you say about that? Whether we are moving into the right direction, or whether we need to take more steps to really establish ourselves as uh, a suitable market for other investor to come in, like the music business, like Sony, BMG, and all of those big labels to really also concentrate on us. So, what are your thought on that?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're growing here in the Northeast. I've said this a couple of times before.
Mm-hmm.
With the advent of online platforms
Yeah.
and things like that, um, I think we have uh, there's no shortage of talent here in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
There's never been a shortage of talent. It's just that we have been slept on for the most part.
Yeah.
But now that we have the internet and everything, things are starting to look up, and I think I think it would be a great time for like these companies to come in and invest on um, the talent here in the Northeast. I think the time is ripe for us.
Mm.
Um, and I also I do believe that we will uh, go very far. There are some very promising um, people out here that will make it far.
So Jenny, you talked about that there is no shortage of talents in the Northeast.
Hmm.
But what do you think the main reason is that we aren't able to break the glass ceiling and then go nationwide and be on the A list of artists in the country?
Yes. Well, I think for one, we get overlooked a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also we're early in the we're just getting into the internet era, the social media era, and it's still quite, we're still quite new. Um, the internet has been ubiquitous here in Northeast for like what, less than, it hasn't even been 10 years
Mm.
since, the internet has become ubiquitous over here. And so, like I said, there is no shortage of talent. I think that we have to be resourceful ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be resourceful. We have to, fight for our place
Yeah.
in the country. And also, it's also difficult because of the way that the country, I guess, is. Um, we're so culturally diverse, and it's not as easy as other countries, for people in India, for Indians, especially the Northeast and the mainland, to connect, because of several barriers, cultural, language barriers, and stuff like that we need to cross in order to
Mm.
get our shine, so to speak. So I think once we are able to figure out how to cross those barriers, I think we'll be okay.
And do you think is that the reason why you're making most of your song in English so that you can cross the border of this culturally diverse or the language diversity that we have?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. I try to write more songs in English so as to reach a wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, because I don't think you can sustain yourself in a um, just being um, uh, I guess being in state like Mizoram, where the population is only about a million.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the word resourceful as a musician or as an artist? Because you mentioned that, as an artist or as a musician, we have to be resourceful. So, what do you mean by resourceful, and how can one be a resourceful artist?
I guess to start with, the internet is everything nowadays.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I think you have to be. I'm learning this myself. I'm
Mm.
not the most um, uh, tactful person when it comes to the business side of things. I
Mm-hmm.
have my skills and talent or whatever, but in order to market yourself, you have to be resourceful in the sense that you have to be able to connect with people. Um, the tools are there
Mm.
now.
Yeah.
The tools are there, so you have to make use of the tools that are available at your disposal, um, as best as you can, and connect with people and learn new stuff, new apps, whatever is coming out. Be on top of everything, all the new technologies and all the social media platforms that are available. So I guess that's what you do. I guess that's where that's a good place to start.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And, you know, somewhere I believe that, artist and musician or artist as a whole, whether you're a
Hmm.
painter, whether a singer, or whether you're uh, any form of artist, needs to be a
Hmm.
little bit of entrepreneurship spirit, needs to have an entrepreneurship spirit.
Yes,
Do
definitely.
you agree to that?
Yes, yes, I agree wholeheartedly.
Because I know you have a lot of stuff that is going on with you as well. And can you talk a little bit more about that, and what your initiative that you have done, and as an entrepreneur, as a music entrepreneur, how did you manage to do all of those stuff, and where did you get the time to do it?
Well, I'm not I'm not doing as great as people think. To be honest, you know what I
Mm,
mean.
mm,
It's a process of trial and error. I've been trying and failing and trying again, and just learning how to navigate this new landscape that we have, and the new opportunities that are opening
mm,
up. So I make a lot of mistakes. It's trial and error. You can't rush the process. Um, so you have to be patient with yourself, and just take your time to learn, and connect with people. And that's what I've been doing this past um, couple of years.
mm-hmm,
With the pandemic hit, and there's really nothing much you can do now.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So things are moving really slow right now. Um, so yeah, there has been some pitfalls that the pandemic has caused on the business front as well.
Mm, yeah.
So it really is just like I'm not the best person to um, give advice in terms of how to make it in the music business, because I'm still trying as well. I don't see myself as someone who's made it big, and like who has the blueprint like I can offer to other people. So I'm still, yeah, I'm still trying to navigate the landscape. So I do music. So I guess the game plan is to make music. Right now I'm working on.
Mm,
I plan to release an album, a body of work. I haven't done
mm,
that. So I will do that, and I will push the merchandise. I will do shows. There's a lot of things that you could do, right? Just off the top of your head,
mm,
it's a lot of the things are a no-brainer. You make music, and you try to branch out, you try to scale up, and you create merchandises, and do shows. And like I said before, there are platforms out there if you are just willing to take the risk and push yourself. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
yeah, that's interesting. And Ginny, for someone who is a budding artist, or
Hmm.
an aspirant artist, you kind of feel like you're a beggar, right? Somewhere, because you're just
Yeah,
starting off,
yeah.
you're pushing your music out, and you say to your friends and families and cousins and sister and everyone, and saying that, oh, here's my music, please listen to this, please listen to this. And so what are the other ways not to be like a beggar as an artist?
Well, luckily for me, I haven't had to like beg or DM people to check out my music.
Hmm.
I haven't like uh, I'm not that type of person
Yeah.
at all. So I guess that's also the reason why it took me longer than it should have
Hmm. Hmm.
to break through. So what I used to do was I would just put out a song. Like it
Yeah.
has always been just a hobby for me for the longest
Hmm.
time. I never planned to like build a career in music, or have any kind of a stable income.
Hmm.
Um, so I did not see that coming, but things happened for me. And so I guess to answer your question, I think you need to be good at what you do.
Hmm.
That's one way to not become a beggar, because so that people um, are just gravitated towards your art or whatever you do, if
Yeah.
you're good
Yeah.
at it. So I think what I can say as far as rap goes,
Hmm.
especially here in the Northeast, I do feel, and I've worked my ass off to feel
Yeah.
that way, and I do feel that I am the best out here in the Northeast. So I guess that's what you need to do: be the best at what you do, so that people would just recognize, at some point.
we all have many sides of personality, right? As a human being.
Yes,
So
yes.
sometimes you want to be lazy, and then you want to be some days you want to be the guy who is like the most productive in the room, right?
Hmm.
Do you ever battle the question, who is Genie? The identity that belongs to you, or the identity that was given to you?
Hmm.
Have you ever battled
Yeah,
in that?
absolutely. Yeah, I'm one of those people. Definitely, I go through a lot of internal battles,
Mm.
and sometimes I'm not quite sure of myself, and sometimes I feel quite confident. And I think this is something that most people go through in their life. You
Mm.
know, just it's okay to be a little confused sometimes. You can't always be up and running 100%. So you have your downtimes, and you just got to be patient with yourself, and figure it out, and have faith in yourself, believe in yourself. um, yeah, I go through that a lot, and it just gets better in time.
And do you think that our society as a whole, or as a parents, or as a community, we are forgiving enough to accept that yes, it's okay to be vulnerable, or it's okay to get lost sometime?
I'm not quite sure about that. I don't think we are enough. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we're open enough to accept people's flaws and transgressions, and forgive their transgressions and stuff like that. People,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially I guess in a very modern patriarchal society, I think uh, it, it gets hard on men as well. I mean,
Yeah.
women go through a lot. Definitely, I'm not I'm not saying they don't at all, but we men as well go through this, um, having to live up to this expectations
Expectation. Yeah.
that society puts on men, us men. So you
Mm.
always have to be sort of strong, and you're expected to have it all together. And when sometimes people break down, and
Yeah.
when that happens, people, I guess we criticize a little too much,
Mm-hmm.
instead of
Mm-hmm.
understanding that this is a human thing, like people go through.
Yeah,
We have to
exactly.
normalize these things, I think.
Yeah, because we often say boys don't cry, right? I mean, even to the
Exactly.
child. So
Yeah.
I think it's time we say that it's okay to cry.
Exactly, exactly. It's okay to be vulnerable, and
Yeah.
that's what I've been trying to do with my art and my songs as well. I'm trying to be a little more vulnerable, and a little more open, so that people can connect with me and resonate with me,
Yeah.
and hopefully I would set an example to the to the younger generation as
Yeah, yeah.
well.
So that
So
people can
yeah,
call the song their own, right?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, we are born into uh, a role which is already predefined, right?
Yes, yes.
As a man. And
Mhm.
then with globalization and everything, we started to understand, okay, what is gender equality and diversity and all of those stuff. And I think as a society also, we have to, like you said, we have to open up, embrace the differences, and then
Yes, yes.
accept people as who we are, right? I don't know about
Exactly.
your community, but you can talk a little bit more on that, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's. I think that's definitely the case. We are new to these the psychological realm
Mm.
of people, of human beings. We know about the physical body. We know when we are ill. We go to the doctor. We know in general what what's what's good and what's not for our physical body. But for the mind, we know very little, and there is much ground to cover in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, definitely we need to raise awareness about mental issues, and yeah, personality issues. Um, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, and we talked about vulnerability, and would you go out there, or to the world as who you really are, and be vulnerable, or you prefer to brand yourself?
I used to prefer the latter.
Mm-hmm.
However, this past few months, especially during the lockdown, I've been thinking about it a lot, and yeah, so this past few months has been a process of coming to terms with who I am as a person,
Mm.
um, and accepting myself. And I've learned that I haven't been able to do that. I've been running away from my problems, and putting um, I guess putting up a wall, a facade,
Mm. Mm.
and things like that. And it's hard to break even after you have identified the issues, that okay, so this is the case, this is a problem that I must fix. It's not always easy to do. Things are always
Yeah.
easier said than done. So it's definitely been I've been going through a process of trying to accept myself for who I am,
Mm.
with all my flaws, and it's definitely also very, very hard for, I guess, someone like me,
Mm.
who has become a bit of a public figure, and everything I do and say now is um, a public discussion to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah.
Um, so it's always, and from a business perspective, I don't know if it's at least in the short term, I don't know if it is a good idea to change my direction now, but it's something that I feel is right for me. So instead of putting up a front,
Mm.
and trying to be someone I'm not, or trying to portray myself as somebody who's whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
that I think it's best for me from here on to be a little more um, vulnerable, and be myself. And I don't know exactly what the implications or the ramifications of that would be in the long run, but I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Um, it might take so it feels like I'm switching lane on my audience.
Mm.
I've portrayed myself as this hardcore uh, rap artist,
Mm.
battle rapper who says anything,
Mm.
and you know uh, who's had uh, beefs with other rappers and stuff like that. So in order
Yeah.
to change that image completely, I don't know what it's going to be like for me,
Mm.
but it's in my heart I feel that it is the right way to um, go about it moving forward. So that's what I'm trying to do. So it's constantly, you're constantly learning as you live, and you live and you learn.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes in the future, but I come to terms with that as well. It's okay with me.
But
So
that's
we'll
the
see
fun
what
part
happens.
of living, right? That's the fun
Yes,
part
yes,
of living, because
definitely, you can
life
definitely.
doesn't give you a, instructional
Mm-hmm.
guideline book, and
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
most fun part. And
Mm-hmm.
embracing yourself, or I would say, trying to find out who you really are, is the bravest things that you can do as a human
Mm-hmm.
being, I would say.
Yes.
Because like you said, we always put a wall around ourselves when we try to
Mm-hmm.
really figure out who we really are,
Yes.
because we live by the perspective of others people, and
Mm-hmm.
we form our opinion based on that, right? Does the bright light changes you as a person?
Um, I think so. Yeah, to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope it's for the better. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I hope it's not for the worst. I don't think so. I don't think it's for the worst. Um, it has helped me see myself in a different light.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I see what I'm capable of. I'm more confident. Growing up, I didn't have the highest self-esteem. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to build my self-esteem, and it definitely having been recognized by people has helped me to um, gain self-esteem as as well. So
So you'd say
it's
you preferred the people's approval.
yes, yes, I do. I do. Yeah.
And does that change after knowing who you really are?
Okay,
Do you still say that I still need the people's approval for something that, for example, the song, new song, if you're releasing a new song and if you feel it's good and you are into it, then do you still need the people's approval for that?
I don't think I need it anymore
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
as much as I used to,
mm,
because back then I just needed the approval to be strong for myself and
mm,
to know that I am somebody and I'm not just a bum of you know um, but yeah, things have happened,
mm.
and um, things have changed, and I don't think I need I'm being real to myself more,
Yeah,
and I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out what it is exactly that I want. I don't know if the approval thing still matters, or it doesn't matter anymore 100%. I can't I'm not completely sure. That's something that I still have to ponder on my own, I guess.
yeah. I understand. I understand. And what kind of artist would you label yourself as? Because there are different kind of artists. For example, there will be someone who would do anything to put food on the table, right?
Hmm.
And then there will be someone who said that instead of playing that, I would rather starve to that.
Well, I think it depends on the requirement of the person. You
Hmm.
know, if you're trying to um um I think I try to be a little bit of both. I think I'm
Hmm.
trying to walk the line between uh being being real and true to yourself while at the same time trying to appeal to a wider audience in order to make a living, or you know get ahead in life.
Hmm.
So I think I actually think that I talked to a Lobo Naga about this. I'm sure you've heard of a Lobo Naga,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he said the same thing, uh, uh, because it's practical. Like once um, if you're trying to be an artist and do this for a living, or at least uh, for a passive income or whatever it is, if you're trying to make any kind of income, you have to supply the demand, and
Hmm.
you can't just do whatever the hell you want. Of course, it's tempting to just make, as an artist, to just make the kind of music or the kind of art that you want and put it out there, and people will gobble it up. But it doesn't happen like that, unfortunately. So you have to sort of mix and match and walk the line,
Hmm.
and that's a balance that I'm still trying to find.
Yeah. And let's track back a little bit on your music. I know we went quite deep into your personality and stuff like that, but
Mm-hmm.
you drop Gone on 21st July. I know it's a hot topic, and
Mm-hmm.
it has been more than 4 lakhs, and on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back there, the hip hop and the hip hop scene, I would say the
Mm-hmm.
scene is all about dissing each other and stuff like that. And there are career which were ruined by diss track,
Mm-hmm.
if we look at majorly in the United States.
Absolutely.
And where do you think we are heading with this?
Um, I don't know. The competitive spirit has always been a driving force of hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And me personally, I've always been the competitive type.
Yeah.
So and I got into battle rap back in 2000. Well, I I gravitated towards battle rap when since 8 Mile, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The movie 8 Mile.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's always been like that for me. It was never personal. It was never my intention to like destroy somebody's career or anything like that. But when it's lyrical and um it there are certain things that the culture brings,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
comes with the culture. And if you're part of the culture, you will understand that these are the things that people do, and it's nothing personal
It's
or
it's
anything
like
like that.
if you're
It,
into rock music, you have to grow your hair, kind of a thing, right? Yeah. That.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I compare rap to if we compare music to sports,
Mm.
rap would be a combat sport, sort of like
Mm.
the UFC, where you actually um, uh, you know, get physical and fight each other
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes. But that's part of the game. As long as I consider myself a lyrical martial artist. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't carry the same energy outside of the ring or um, do all that extra stuff. But when you get in the ring and it's an unwritten rule, agreement that when you step in the ring with someone else, then you're
Yeah.
supposed to, catch some punches, and you're supposed to throw some punches, eat some yourselves, and it's all good. It's all fun and games.
Yeah. And there is no, when you enter the ring, there is no. It's like there is no round, right? Like
Hmm.
you don't play 10 rounds or you don't play 20 rounds. It's as long as it takes to,
Yeah.
yeah, the dish to die down. But tell
Hmm.
me this: was the song intentionally done that way, or you never had the intention to do it that way?
What happened with Kone was so I started doing rap battles in Mizoram. I
Yeah,
started a league called the Pit,
the pit, right?
and it was in 2017, and I was trying to sort of um, uh, push the boundaries and go outside Mizoram as well. And I was calling out in one of my battles. I called out at the beginning. I called out BK.
Mm-hmm.
I called him out on Facebook as well, because I knew that he was battling. He used to battle and stuff like that. So
Mm.
he was kind of the one, like the first one. So me as a competitive person, I always want to challenge myself and go against whoever is considered to be the best, because I consider myself to be the best, and I wanted to prove
Mm.
myself. So I called him out, and he declined, and it was all good. So
Mm.
as long as it's a battle, like I said, it was never personal. So I called him out, and he declined. But then he dropped the diss track out of nowhere, and and um and I was like, okay, if that's how you want to go, then I'll reply, because if someone drops a diss track, why I'm not the type to just sit around and brush it off. So
Yeah.
so I did Cone, and yeah, it really created a buzz, um, a bigger buzz than I expected it to create. So
I
um,
think it actually woke up the whole Northeast
it
rap
did.
scene, right?
It really did. Yeah.
And then everyone goes international because of that.
That's what I was talking about. When I said you have to be the best in order for people to come to you.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
So I believe in myself. I consider myself to be the best. This is nothing cocky when I say this. It's not that I'm
Yeah.
full of myself. I'm not the best in every area that I've participated in. in any field that I've participated in. No, I'm far from, I'm just an average guy. But when it comes to rap, it's something that I'm serious about, and it's something that,
Mm.
I've put in a lot of work on, and when you've done that, you always want to prove yourself. And I guess I have proved myself. One song could rile up the whole region. So it's a testament for how hard I've worked on my craft. And I don't. I think it works out for me.
Yeah, I agree. And with like you said, it woken up the whole of Northeast, not only Northeast, the national and international,
Hmm.
and that's all because of just one song, right? And
Hmm.
do you think that you have represented your people enough to the international or national level? And what would you say as compared to other people who other artists who are there before you? Do you think that you have represented them?
Um, I guess enough would be subjective.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, well, to me, if you ask me, I think I've done my part. Yes. I think that there's something unique in the way that I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said before, I didn't go around begging and bombarding people with links and
Yeah.
just um I didn't go around. I just dropped it, and there you go. And then people, when it's good, you just can't ignore it. So that's how it happened. People discovered me from all around the world, reaction
Mm-hmm.
videos from all around the world. And uh, yeah, in a way, I think, I guess I'm pretty proud of myself for that, because
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't promote it like that, or I just let it happen organically, and people came to me. So
Your
for that
work
fact,
did the marketing for you,
yes,
i-
yes,
in other words.
yes.
And
I guess that's two ways you can build yourself a foundation. It's either to market yourself really well,
mm,
or you could work on your craft, perfect your craft, and be so good that it's undeniable, and
yeah.
it can't be ignored.
And one very critical question is that would you say your people need you or you need the people?
I
It's
think it's
it goes
mutual.
back to the same two questions where we are where we talked about, do you need the people approval or you still don't need it? So similarly here, would you say you need the people or your people needs you? When I say people, I'll just give you a context. The Mizoram state.
Yes, yes, of course. Like, yeah, I think it's mutual. I think we need each other. I definitely
Mm,
needed them. Because I was grinding for quite some time
mm,
before I sort of blew up, and it couldn't happen without my people. So I had to
yeah.
come back home and win the heart of the hometown, and then scale up again from there. Um, so I had to make a couple of Mizo songs, to prove myself to my people. And then once I got their support, uh, um, I scaled out. I branched out. So yeah, even now I do still need the support of my hometown, my home state,
Mm.
and I'm sure that a lot of people are proud of me as well. Um, they see me as something that they you know they can be proud of. So it's mutual.
Yeah, yeah. And let's step back a little bit. So, tell me about how is it growing up for you? Do you have pretty much all you need, or you are like one of those kids?
No, no, definitely not. I grew up pretty rough,
Mm-hmm.
um, humble beginning, very very humble beginning, and I didn't have anything. Like, if I had the support or the backup or the financial uh, those things
Mm-hmm.
in place when I was growing up, I would be well, I can't say I was bigger because things happen for a reason. And
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, so very 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 humble beginning. I'm not from a well-off family.
Hmm.
I didn't have anything like I was into music, but I never had the chance to like learn an instrument because I couldn't afford any. So all I had was a pen and a notebook to play
Hmm.
with. So that's I guess that turned out to be a blessing because I worked on my craft because it's all I could do. I couldn't like do other things, and people a lot of people have different hobbies, and uh, they spread themselves out with a bunch of things. They're into music, they're into sports, they're into all these other things, and they spread themselves too thin, and they don't focus on one thing and perfect that craft. So I guess it turned out to be good for me that I didn't have any other avenue um, to spread myself in.
Yeah.
Um, so I worked on my uh, lyrical skills, and this is where it brought me.
So, so from from our conversation, what I understand is that you like to hustle and you enjoy this the process of the hustle, right? And
Yes, hmm
and
I'm enjoying more so now than ever.
yeah,
I'm learning
and
to enjoy it. Yeah.
and growing up wasn't like you don't have anything on the silver plate given to you. So
hmm
now that you looking at the current situation now, like even if you have a song, you would have all the resources and all the tools to create instantly, right?
Yeah.
But what I learned from your past conversation and other interviews is that some of the songs that you have released were created in 2015 back in when you were in Bangalore
Yes.
with
Yes.
your roommate. You
Uh-huh.
record the stuff in the room.
You did
So
your
do you
research.
think that the struggling when you're struggling, you become more productive and creative?
Absolutely. When you can't change the situation,
Hmm.
you're forced to change yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So does that spirit still stays on now that you have, I would say, whatever you need to produce a song?
definitely, definitely, yes. I'm still very much hungry, but the thing now is that like I've hinted before,
Hmm.
um, I think at the beginning of if you could call it a spiritual journey,
Hmm.
um, things like that. So my mind is a little bit on um, preoccupied with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm in the process of trying to figure out the best way to move forward. But the hunger is still there. Yes, yes, of course. There's still a long way to go for me.
What's the destination? Where is the destination?
I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly. That's one of the things that I still need to figure out. And I used to. The dream was always to be well, as a kid, getting
Hmm.
into hip hop, you get immersed in the culture and in the all the images that are thrown at you with all the millionaire stuff, rich rapper life, and all that stuff. And that's how for the longest time that's how I define success. Uh, um, it used to be like I would consider myself successful when I have those things, but now it's starting to look a little different.
Different.
Yeah, the definition of success is
Yeah.
I guess it's changed a little bit in some ways because it's not all about the material things now. It's the inner peace for me, um, and and I know for a fact that all the money in the world can't buy you the inner peace that
Yeah.
you truly desire. So having that as part of the equation, I don't know. It's tough for me, but I think I'm close to figuring it out. I'm taking this lockdown time since there's nothing we can do as of now. I'm taking this time out to figure everything out, and once I've landed on one thing, I think I'll move forward strongly. So, of course, yeah, of course, you do need the money to sustain yourself. You do need the
Hmm.
financial freedom, but it's how far do I want to go beyond that is something that I still need to figure out.
So money is just a secondary thing which comes out of the
Yes,
primary things that you do, right?
yes,
So
yes,
you don't work
yes.
for the money, but money is like a gift from what you love to do.
That has been, yeah, that has been a huge change in my way of thinking.
Yeah. And if you, for instance, tomorrow if you make it to let's say the like performance with Drake or one of the A-list rapper in the United States, would you say you made it, or you would say almost there?
That would definitely be something. That would definitely be something to cherish, an experience of a lifetime. But ask, I would ask myself, um, like I said before, it's inner peace. Like what gets you? Like um, something like that on the surface might seem to be,
Mm.
very admirable or very worthwhile, but it might not actually be that worthwhile. Um, I guess I wouldn't say no, but I can't say that I would consider myself successful just because of something like that, you
Mm.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe the definition of certain things in life changes as you grow older and you
Hmm.
experience more in life, have more
Hmm.
experience in life.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, success before, like you've mentioned, that it's all about the flame and the glory and the money, all right?
Hmm.
But now, as you uh, grow older and understand life a little bit more, then you get to realize that, there are something that money can't just buy.
Definitely. Yeah.
And you talked about spirituality. I know it's a tricky questions, but
Hmm.
uh, try to I understand where you stand on religion, but
Yeah. Yeah.
if we can discuss a little bit more about that, would you say you're in what spectrum are you in, whether you're in the atheism or the agnosticism spectrum? Which part of the spectrum will you be in?
I think I would be, well, um to be precise, I would consider myself an agnostic atheist because
Mm-hmm.
I I I I, I think, um I don't know how people define these things, but to me, this is my personal definition. Agnosticism has something to do with knowledge,
Mm.
something that you know or don't know,
Yeah,
and atheism is sort of like
completely
a
denying
commitment.
the fact, right?
Yeah. So do I know that a God exists? No, of course not. That's something that I can't know. So I would say I don't know, and that would make me an agnostic. But do I live as though there is a God? No. I live as though there is no God, and so that makes me an atheist. I guess
Yeah.
that's how I
And
would define it.
yeah, and when did this thought process comes into you? I mean, at what point?
It was a long time ago. It was in my teenage.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, life was rough growing up,
Mm.
and I didn't get my prayers answered. So I started to doubt. It was a rebellious thing at the beginning, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, at first I was like, okay, so my prayers are not answered. Why am I what am I praying for? Like, I'm gonna stop praying. And then, but when something good, some sort of a blessing happens to me, I would give thanks.
Mm.
And it started out like that, and I never asked for anything. I would just thank God when I have a good day or whatever. Then I started, getting deeper and deeper into, the science and the philosophy of these
Hmm.
of things, and I was more convinced that there was no good rational um, reason to believe that there is a God. So that's just how it happened to me.
When it comes to religion,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be Hinduism, Muslim, or Christianity, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
talking Christianity per se. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think that religion exists to explain and give comfort to people for the things that just our minds cannot explain, like
Yes, yes,
death, just to comfort ourselves?
yes, yes. I do. I do. Religion plays a big role in the development of the human race. It was our first attempt at trying to understand and make sense of the world.
Hmm.
And there's a lot that we don't know, that we still don't know even today. I mean, there's you can just imagine
Yeah, yeah,
how big the universe is and how little we know about it. So religion was our first attempt, and then out of religion born uh, uh, science. Science was born, I think, out of religion,
yeah,
and to me personally, I think things have utility to a certain point, uh, where you don't need them no more, and it becomes sort of like a vestigial thing that's no longer too useful. I'm not saying religion is not useful to anybody today. It definitely provides um, a sense of security, a sense of purpose and peace and things
yeah,
like that, and I don't deny that at all. Um, but for people like me, it's just not useful.
yeah. I completely get it. And you
Mm.
know, how do you define death and creation then?
Creation. I can't say that the universe was created, or um, I cannot argue against the idea of an intelligent designer.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not. I mean, there's definitely a good argument against that, but I'm not the one to, like, I'm not educated enough to make such
Yeah, yeah. Understood.
argument. So I'm just not gonna do that. But I think it's possible that the universe just came out of something that is not God, or not a sentient
Hmm.
creator.
Now that we have established your understanding of what creation is,
Mhm.
what about death? How do you define it in your own terms?
Um, well, it's the end of us as humans.
Mm-hmm.
It's the end of our journey. Um, the way I see it is everything that we're made of is comes from elsewhere. The universe, it comes from the stars, to be
Mm.
exact. We're made of stardust, as the scientists used to say. Um, so every element in our body came from um, uh, a star that it exploded or whatever. So in a way, we live on. The particles
Mm.
that we're made of would go on. The energy, um, our energy, they
Mm.
can neither be created nor destroyed. So
Yeah.
we will live on, and take a different form after that, after the death of our body.
All right. Some. So you believe in the reincarnation process, or does it mean?
It's not exactly a reincarnation. I'm not saying we're going to be reincarnated as
Mm-hmm.
another living organism. We could be
Mm.
something else. We could just the atoms will disintegrate and form something else that's
Oh,
part of the universe.
understood. So, according to you, what is the
Mm-hmm.
sole purpose of being alive then, if there is no
Your
greater cause?
No, I don't think so. Um, I I think your purpose is what you make of it. You know,
Mm,
where you create your own purpose and your own meaning. It's what you decide. It's
mm.
what you decided to be.